How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
So nice to have you here today.
Thank you so
So
much.
I am Isabel. I am the host for this Facebook Live. Today we will have a few special guests, and some of them are from Hong Kong, some of them from Belgium. So stay tuned. Today we have some special guests. One of the guests is from the founder of Asia Trail Master. So he'll be joining in later. As well as we have three superstar elite runner, which is one is John. He's the ATM male champion in 2019, and Veron, ATM female champion in 2019, and as well as Sherpa. He's the ATM champion in 2018. And soon we will also have David. He'll come up here to talk about T8 International and some new products from T8. And then after David, we'll have, not forget to mention Chris. He is the founder of Asia Trail Master. He will also be joining in. And last but not least, Ismail from Pelari Denai. He will do some Q&A with our superstar elite runners. So Azleen, are you ready?
I'm ready whenever that our champions are ready. But I think first and foremost, I would like to say good evening to everyone. Thank you for Sportlicious for hosting this live session together with iHost. And of course, to all the audience that joining us tonight, because I was made to understand that this broadcast goes beyond Malaysia. And I think just a few hours ago that I got tweeted by one of, I would say, a running group as well in Indonesia promoting the live session tonight. So I think this is really going to be a very nice sharing, a candid sharing, to know beyond just running, because all these champs are known in Malaysia, in Asia, for their trail running accomplishments. So tonight, let's hear something else besides running from them, okay?
Remember to also ask any questions if you want to know more about your model, for example, John, Sherpa, or Veron. If you want to ask any question, just leave a comment below.
Yes.
Okay, so shall we start the show?
Yes, shall we?
Okay.
Hi, John. Hey, John, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys. We are all on air. So we have John and Veron, the ATM 2019 champion for men and women, and Sherpa, our ATM champion for 2018. Okay. So, guys, Veron, tonight we're going to steer away a bit from trail running. Okay, you guys are known. Okay, your accomplishments are known in trail running. So perhaps I'm going to pick these first questions. I'm going to pose it to Veron. Okay, ladies first. Okay, Veron. Okay, is there anything that you want your fans to know about you beside trail running?
Yeah, perhaps there is one thing that I guess most of my fans don't know about me is how I first got into sports. So I was not always a runner. Actually, my first introduction to sports was handball. So I joined a local handball team in Slovakia when I was 8 years old. And I was playing handball until I was 17, so quite a long time. And it was quite professional at the time because we would have trainings every day. Every weekend there was a match. So I was traveling through the country. I was going to some neighboring countries as well. So that was kind of my first introduction. But already at the time, I knew I can never be really the best at handball because once my coach told me oh, Veronica, you'd be the best at handball if there was no ball. So basically saying I was the best runner, I was super fast and, running back and forth, but the ball was the problem. So it was quite a big struggle given that the sport is called handball. But yeah, I guess it kind of led me on a way to, just focus on what I'm better at, which is running. So that's probably a fun fact.
Okay, that's very interesting because that's really a shift, from a sport that with a gear, and then now I would say like you are doing trail running, like really like the main sport. So how about you, John? Beside running, what is it that you want your fans to know about you?
I guess if we're going into past lives, yeah, I used to be a bigger guy. So trail running helps everyone who does it to get fit. This is a picture of me.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
yeah, a bit over a decade ago when I wasn't running, I was, instead of ultra marathons, I was doing ultra beer drinking sessions. I was pretty good at it, but yeah, I was a very different person. I've obviously changed a little bit, and I'm really loving where I'm at right now. But yeah, I think people who discover trail running and get into it, they can really make some positive changes to their lives, and I was one of them as well.
Okay, and I think the many out there, John, will be sharing the same sentiment as you because many find that running helps them, either to stay fit or even, move from being overweight, obese, and then, to becoming a better version of themselves. So Shilpa, folks know that you trail run and then you're now doing skipping since you can't run, but what else? Something that could be a top secret that you want your fans to know about you.
Now, a thing that everyone asking me is if I'm a professional trail runner or not, and I want to say many of us has a double or triple life. So I work for a company based in Singapore, and so we work many hours per day, and we have to find the time for training hard every day. And fortunately, I don't have family. But some of us has also kids and wife and whatever, so it's not that easy to match the training and racing life with the private life.
Okay, all right. So I guess folks on the audience on the live, if you have any questions that you wanted to ask these champions, please do so. Okay, but until I haven't received any yet. Okay, so I think for Malaysia, we are all known that we stay home because of the MCO, Movement Control Order, and I understand that in Hong Kong, you guys still was able to go out. But aside running, Shilpa, he said that he spent a lot of time skipping now. But what else? Other activities that you find yourself has started to take on more interest or spend more time during this trying times, this pandemic situation. So I know who wants to take the first step. John. So what did you do besides running during this quarantine period? Other physical activities?
I mean, firstly, just a little shout out to all the the healthcare workers around the world. And everyone who's in a lockdown and doing the right thing. It's an important time for all of us to be responsible, and that's going to save lives over the long term. And it's obviously hard right now, but to anyone out there who's doing the right thing, big kudos to you and big pat on the back. In Hong Kong, we're quite lucky because the population here got hit with SARS pretty badly in 2003, and so everyone's gone to this social distancing, face masks, and all of that pretty quickly. And so, fortunately, we haven't had a lockdown. We're probably one or two clusters away from one, and hopefully it doesn't happen. So, we've been fortunate enough that we can still go out and run. But the main difference has been that we have to do it responsibly now. So, for me, that's just getting up at 5 a.m. and getting out on the trails before it gets too busy. Doing a lot of solo runs. And if you do see someone, it's giving them a 2 meter space as you go past. So, for me personally, hasn't affected things too much, but you just have to be a lot safer with how you do things.
Okay. Veron, I saw your live Tabata workout session the other day. Okay, but is that some new stuff that you've been doing during this pandemic period? What else? I know.
Yeah. I mean, we can still go out and run, but pretty much apart from that, we don't go anywhere because all the social activities are kind of off the limit. So there's still a lot of time that we spend at home. So I do a lot more yoga. I never did that before. So, I just follow some YouTube channels and I do that. I do a lot more stretching, which is always good. And yeah, I do more of these like high intense interval trainings like Tabata or some circuit trainings that before I would do maybe once or twice a week just to kind of like do something different. But now I do it almost every day just because there is so much time. Yeah, I did this live session for the first time in my life, and I'm not really a person who enjoys just being out there and live and have everyone else look at me. So it was actually quite challenging for me to do it, and I did it as a favor because a friend asked me to do it, so I committed to it. But in the end, it was quite a lot of fun. So I think it's just always come up with new things and new activities you can do, and then it never gets boring, even if you're stuck at home.
True enough, because just like what you said, the yoga part, I agree, because somehow this quarantine period or this isolation during this pandemic allowing us opportunity to slow down a bit and focus on another part of the training, if you call it still like a training, right? Do the stretching, do the yoga, the mobility and flexibility. So I think that's really a good investment of time. Shepa, so what did you do? I always saw your live skipping workout. I was wondering, like, how many thousand times the skipping that you do in a day, and besides skipping, what else that you could be doing during this quarantine period?
Yeah, I do a lot of skipping, mainly because I'm getting fat.
You fat?
You're in great shape.
And, no, I put a lot of live because I want to advertise the indoor training. So I like to, there are many, especially runners who are suffering, and but I think especially trail runners, they know how to go through this. So there are thousands of solutions to keep fit and keep the training. And as you said, I also going into like meditation, yoga, this kind of stuff that are very far from my usually training. But I'm trying to capitalize this time to work on myself. I've been alone for 24 days now. So I'm working on myself and I'm finding myself pretty strong. And I think it's a rare occasion, a rare chance to understand how to stay with ourselves. And I'm sure I will be able to tell to my grandson and granddaughter one day that this quarantine helped me a lot on a personal side.
Okay. All right, that's very good. So that actually brings me up to the next question. So I think I'm gonna, since you mentioned that, about like self improvement, self-discovery during this quarantine period. So was there even a single time, Shepa, during this quarantine period that you felt demotivated, or you feeling down, and how you cope? How did you cope with it, or is there any tips or tricks that you motivate yourself?
Yeah, I think every day I feel there is like what in ultra trail running we call pain cave. So there is a moment where you feel lost, and happiness is not the absence of issue, but is the ability to manage problems. And so for myself, I think dopamine, so whatever comes from training or from exercise, it helps me a lot on a mind side. And another things I use a lot, maybe too much, is chocolate. So that's a problem, but I mean, this is my personal suggestion. It helps a lot.
Okay. All right. Okay. I like the dopamine. I like the chocolate. So you have a biggest fan here. Okay. High five. How about you, Veron? So what did you do? Any tips when you feeling down? How you motivate yourself?
Well, I think we are all feeling down at some moments during these days because, it's not the usual typical day that we're all used to. So for me, it's just staying in touch with my family, with my friends, which actually is a lot easier these days because all of a sudden everyone wants to chat and catch up and, have a video call. So I'm actually talking to many friends way more than I did before. I even saw like some friends I haven't seen in a really long time because everyone is sort of in the same situation. So whenever I feel down, I just, you just have to look at it from a different perspective. Like, it's not just me being stuck here, it's everyone else in the whole world. So why not connect, like catch up with friends, see like what they've been up to in the past months or even years. So I don't think the situation right now is bad. I mean, I'm still super happy that no one from my family and from my friends is sick. That's the most important thing. So we should be thankful for what we have and not for what we don't have. So just try to look at it from different point of view.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good advice. Look things in a different perspective, different point of view. John, how about you?
Look, exactly what Veronica said. A lot of it's just knowing who your happy people are and, just spending time with them. And obviously it's hard at the moment because you can't physically meet up with them, but you can still, video calls and everything else. And for a lot of people, that's going to be the people that you live with, your family or your friends that you live with. And for me, it's my kids, getting to spend time with them. And you might have, so many things that are stressing you out, but then you spend a little time with them and, you get to make little stars and you put, hundreds of thousands on them and it's great. And all of a sudden, all the cares in the world just melt away. So I think it's just finding your happy people.
Awesome. That's a very good advice. I think it's important for the folks here, to listen that there is a downtime for everyone, even for champions, even for an elite runners, and it's perfectly fine, right? Because that's the human side of us. Okay. So now, we move away to the next question. So imagine, guys, that if you don't do trail running at all, you don't know even what is that trail running. So where would you think yourself today? What you will be doing if you're not racing, if you don't know what is trail running? Baron, what will you do?
For me, it's definitely some other sports. So that's my hobby, that's my passion. So if I were not trail running, I would probably do something else outdoors. So I like to be outdoors in the nature, do some hiking, or I also really like cycling. So probably just cycling somewhere up a really steep hill, that would be like the second best option if I can run up this hill. Yeah, so keeping staying active and being outside, that's what makes me happy. So if it cannot be running, then would be cycling. Yeah.
Will you consider going back doing the tri sports? Because I read about you that before you actively race trail racing, you were also a triathlete. So will you consider that as well?
Yeah, I want to do it again. My problem is the swimming, so I'm not a strong swimmer. I don't really enjoy that part, and unfortunately, it's one of the three. So, but then again, every time if I go back to it, it's another challenge to overcome. So, it's again like to move to the next level. I would have to start swimming again, which is something I don't enjoy, but maybe it's like a good challenge so you don't stagnate. So yeah, I would go back. Maybe, hopefully, I will one day.
Okay. Shepa, so what will you do if you're not doing trail running?
Yeah, I also came from mountain biking. So I still love cycling, but for my lifestyle, I cannot train now. And I think ultra trail running is, for me, the best shape at the moment of exploring and of being outdoor. Something that I have as a bonus that I would like to explore is sailing. I have zero knowledge about sailing, but being on a sailing boat somewhere, not racing probably, but just, for the second part of my life, I would see myself somewhere on a sailing boat. I like the idea of the wind blowing in the sails and exploring the seaside. So I will switch from the mountain to the sea.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, might go fishing then one day. Okay.
Yeah.
John, So what you imagine yourself that you will do if not doing trail running?
Probably this guy again. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's hard to imagine life without trail running. It's such a big part of my life these days. But you know, if I didn't have trail running, I think it would be some other sort of distance sport. I love being out in nature and doing something for a long time, and I just get this sense of peace and zen when I do that. So for me, it might even be sort of mountain biking. It might be sort of distance, open water swimming, something along those sorts of lines.
Okay, so me and Veronica, we share the same concern. I'm not a good swimmer as well, so we have these two gentlemen that love sea and love open water. Okay, guys. So people always see you racing, trail racing. Okay, they will be interested if say you have any rituals or any musics or something that you guys do before any race. Some people they might need to do some meditation. They need to take a specific breakfast. So how about you guys? Any specific music or any specific ritual before you put yourself at the start line? John?
For me, there's one big rule before every race, and it's dropping the kids off at the pool. It's a really good feeling. It's right. A plate that you don't need, and so if I can get to a race, find the toilet, drop the kids off at the pool, I always feel good before a race, and generally means that I can eat. I don't have the stomach issues. On top of that, I'm a big fan of music while racing, and I like to start things slow, but then I've got favorites like Hilltop Hoods and Eminem and Calvin Harris and David Guetta and Linkin Park. It's pretty eclectic.
Okay. So there's your song choice. Shepa, how about you? Any ritual or music before the race?
Yeah, I used to listen music over long races. I use music as a bonus in my maybe in the low moment or whatever is something that helps a lot. And then I think it's very important. I used to do a lot of the cross sign, not because I'm a good Christian. Actually, I'm a bad one. But I like to be thankful for what I'm doing and for where I am. So it's very common that over a sunset, a sunrise, or when I reach a peak of a high mountain, or when I reach the finish line, I think it's very important in life to say thank you, especially if you are lucky, like most of us, like we are healthy, strong, and we are around the world doing what we like to do.
Sure. I don't know if you remember, but Penang Eco 2 years ago, like halfway through the race when we saw that sunset together, and I remember you did that, and it was kind of a special moment.
Yeah, I remember exactly that moment. So that are the moments that really are in my heart, and I can remember very well.
Yeah.
This is why I'm running.
Being thankful and grateful. Yep. Veron, how about you? Music during or before? Or ritual?
No ritual. No. But I love music. So definitely before the race, in the morning, I love Latino music. I love Jamaican music. So these kind of songs put me in a good mood. And then during the race, similar to Sherpa, like I don't listen at the beginning at all. And then when it gets really tough, all of a sudden, like you put a good song on and everything just, gets better. And recently I love just listening to music running downhill, because then it feels like, wow, you can run so much faster, and it's just such a cool feeling. So yeah, music helps for sure.
Okay. So it's like a Zen moment that you just focus on yourself, and get ready for the race, or even, during the training. That's very nice to hear, because I try also to listen to music while running, but so far I only managed to do that, while on the road, but not, in the trail, especially downhill. I just need to be really focused with the surrounding. Okay, guys, you guys has been running for years, so I bet there is someone that has inspired you for where you are now today. So, but be it not just in trail running, but in work. If you could choose one person who has inspired you the most, who would that person be? Yeah, one person, if you can choose, that has inspired you so much in trail or in life, who that person that you will choose? Okay, Veron.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this question for a while. I'm the first one in the family who is really that much into sports and doing it on like a more professional level. So there is no athletes at all in my family, although like they're all quite active. But every time like I'm training and it gets hard, or when I have a tough moment in the race, I think of my grandfather. He used to be a geologist, so his whole life he was walking through the forest, through the mountains, just mapping terrain, and he would always tell us these like amazing stories when he was out in the wilderness. So I think he's like the one who sort of inspired me, because he followed his passion, and I'm following my passion, and also like his love for nature and for the mountains. I think that's where I get it from as well, and all of my family. So he's the one I always think of when I'm somewhere in the forest in the middle of the night.
That's very nice. John, how about you?
I think it's probably my parents. I owe everything to them. I had a great childhood. They were so good. They made a lot of sacrifices for me. And even from an early age, they were taking me out, and we'd go for 5K walks when I was 3 years old, and I always remembered that. It's because of that I've always loved the outdoors. I love being in nature, and they've just to see how much they've worked to give me all the opportunities that I've had just makes me feel like I need to grab all of those opportunities and be the best person that I could be, and try as hard as I can every single time.
True. Shepa, how about you?
Well, for me, it's my grandfather, who showed me the difference between self-confidence and arrogance. It's a very thin line, and most of the time, especially through social network, people can read confidence as arrogance. But arrogance is being insecure. It means show to or to prove to your audience how great you are. But self-confidence is you don't care what other people thinks, because you know what you stand for, your values and beliefs, and the success you are going to, I think, is a consequence of self-confidence, that you will get the success is because you are believing in what you are doing, and you are having fun. Yep. This is my key also in my job. In business, I believe making money is not the key, but is a consequence of having fun or of pursuing your values and beliefs. So, yeah, this is, my grandfather was a very humble man, but he showed me, this difference between arrogance and self-confidence. We have to be confidence. We need confidence, and we need to be positive. That it doesn't mean to be naive, but it means that we always have to see the light out of the tunnel. Doesn't mean that when you are in the shit, you say, "Oh, everything is good," but it means I can go through this.
Yep, that's very nice. Okay, in the interest of time, I think I'm going to ask I'm going to pick one question from the crowd. Okay, the question is to John. Okay, but I think it's just relevant to everyone. Okay, John, you have raced in many races abroad. Okay, for your entire career. So if you can only pick one race, which one is the most memorable to you and why? Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough question, but I think I would go 9 Dragons in 2018. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough race anyway. 50 miles, lots of climbing, very technical on the Saturday, and then you back up again on the Sunday with 50 Ks, again, very technical, lots of climbing. Really strong field, a couple of the Japanese elites, including Kazufumi Uze and Kobayashi Keita, and just, having to go head to head, toe to toe with those guys, and the format means that even on the second day, even with a lead, you don't know where you're at. You might be ahead, you might be behind, and it just means that you just have to keep pushing all the way through to the finish line. And I suffered so much, and I don't mind admitting that I bawled. I cried my eyes out as I crossed the finish line. I was hugely emotional, getting to see my family there, also winning, and also having gone through so much pain and suffering to make it. But that was probably my most memorable race.
That's sweet. So Varen, how about you? Pick one race that you find it so memorable and why.
Well, for me, it's definitely the Hong Kong 100 race I did in January. So it was my first big international race, kind of a first race where I had a lot of competition from many high-level athletes from all over the world. So it was kind of a big challenge. Also, it was my first big race after moving to Hong Kong, and first time when I had a support crew. So it was a lot of firsts, and it went really, really well. So I had a great race with a great result. And also, it gave me a lot of confidence to, believe in myself and want to do more of these kind of big races abroad. So it's definitely this one, most memorable and very good memories.
Yep, and congratulations for the winning. That's your first big one. Sherpa, pick one that you'll find the race is memorable. Yeah, to you.
I have three, but I will be very, very short. So one is Izu Trail in 2018. That was at the end of my Asia Trail Master campaign. And it was really tough. I was fighting for the title with one Spanish guy. And it was a very fast race. Veronica did very well this year. So it's a very runnable trail with a lot of fast Japanese runner. And so that was at the end of a very tough journey for me. So this is why it's one of the best memory I have. And but I want to talk also with some race that I would say I failed, that I don't win, like Rinjani 100 in 2018. So that was also an experience where I had a lot of body issue during the path. And I think even if I think I finished 6th or 7th overall, but I really went through a lot of issue that changed myself. So it's always about fail, not be afraid to fail, but to capitalize on failure and improve yourself. So Rinjani 100 of 2018 is one of the best memory I have so far.
Thank you guys for sharing that. So I think that's conclude the first segment for tonight. Sherpa, Veron, I'll see you guys later towards the end of the session. So I think now we're going to bring Chris, the founder of Asia Trail Master, to join us together with John. Hi,
Hello.
Chris.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. So folks
Just in
knows
time
you.
because
Yes, go ahead.
yeah,
Just in time,
because
yes.
my connection just dropped, so I just got back online.
Okay. All right. I can hear you clearly, Chris. I hope you can hear me clearly as well.
No problem.
Awesome. So, Chris, folks knows you as the founder of the Asia Trail Master. Okay, but maybe many not know that you have been collaborating very closely with the T8 in the past years. And I also made to known that there will be a future collaboration with T8 in regards to T8 Youth, a new category. So perhaps, Chris, you want to share some brief, updates on ATM as well as the collaboration with the T8 to the audience.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been very happy that the 8 has been a sponsor for the last 2 years. The cooperation was also not only extended but expanded with this T8 Youth Trophy. The idea of the Youth Trophy actually came from John himself. It is something that I was already thinking of myself sometimes, but when John suggested it to me over a lunch I think it was beginning of January this year, I immediately said, yes, we do that. And I think John probably has more background to that, but we fully happy.
Okay, I think I would like to invite John as well to be on screen. Chris, I'm losing you briefly just now for a moment. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me back?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you back. I lost you for a few seconds just now.
I see. Okay. Yeah, so as I said, I mean, there is already a T8 youth ranking at the moment because we had 3 races this year. But of course, it doesn't mean much yet. 3 races, yeah.
So
is John coming back? Yeah, okay.
Yes, I think I'm asking Isabel to bring John up back so that John can share with us more about the T8 Youth Program and the mission, even the background, why this T8 Youth Program. Hi, John. Can you hear us? I'm glad that you are able to be back on air. So, John, Chris was mentioning about the collaboration between ATM and the T8, and then we have recently introduced the T8 Youth category, right? And yes, so perhaps John, share with us a bit more about this program, this mission, behind this T8 Youth.
I think when I talked to Chris about this, I think there really was a meeting of minds. We both think about youth in the same way. It's really the future of the sport. Myself, having run I think 8 or 9 races in 2019, I got to meet a lot of the other runners from a lot of other countries, and you realise there's a lot of talent all around the region in many countries. A lot of them are younger runners. Maybe they're not quite there yet, but you can see so much potential. And I think all of us who are involved in the sport, we've all got a responsibility to try and encourage those younger runners with this potential, to try and take it to the next level and be the best runners that they can. And so, when we had a chat to Chris about this, he was on board straight away. And I think anything that Asia Trail Masters and T8 can do is to encourage the next generation of runners to get better and really realize that potential. I think everyone would have to agree it's a really good thing.
Okay, so because I lost Chris a few seconds ago, but John, do you see that the T8 Youth is going to be a part of like a ATM branding, or you foresee that eventually the T8 Youth is going to be like a race series on its own?
I mean, for us, Asia Trail Masters is what we want to support, and I think Chris does it a really good job in terms of bringing together some of the best races across Asia into one series. I don't think we need to come up with a different series. I think Chris does such a good job already, and I think it might even dilute it by having another series that competes when he's already got so many good races. So I think the way Chris has set it up with there's an overall championship, and then there's another championship, doing the same races but in that under 29 category, I think works really well.
Okay, I think that's such an awesome plan. So, Chris, anything else in terms of we know with the current situation, races are cancelled or postponed, but perhaps if you want to give us a quick glance of what is in store for ATM in 2020. I don't know whether that is too far off. Yeah.
Well, at the moment, the relaunch of the season keeps moving back, right? So last week we had the postponement of the Monkeys Trail in Thailand. And now this week we also had the cancellation of the Puncak Tanawan race in the Philippines, which makes it the second cancellation only though, because all the other races have been postponed to a later date this year. So at the moment it's still a little bit of a wait and see what happens, and I don't like to speculate too much because that has no meaning. So right now we're just waiting for the season to get back on track, and the first race is Dalat Ultra Trail, but that's the 19th, 20th of June, so that's still a long way from now. The good news is that I had a conversation with the event organization of Dalat Ultra Trail in Vietnam, and they said that right now everything looks good. So hopefully Dalat will be the first race, and then we have the
Cordillera next.
Cordillera, that will be in, was it Philippines?
I think that's in June. Yeah, in the Philippines. Actually, I raced it last year.
End of June.
Okay, all right. So I think all the best. I think the most matter now is everyone is safe. That all of us, we can go out safely and race safely, right? True enough, like Chris was saying, it's a wait and see approach, right? We can't speculate much enough now at the moment, given the current situation. So, I think that is I would say the game plan at the moment. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time tonight. Appreciate your time joining us all the way. By the way, guys, Chris is currently in Belgium. Okay, he's not somewhere in an Asian country like the rest of us. So, Chris, thank you for your time. So next, I'm gonna speak more to John. Okay, John, we talked about T8 Youth just now. So I think for many of us here, we are also a T8. We use the product from T8, right? So it's going to be interesting because I was told, a little bit told me that you are working on some new stuff from T8. So come share with us and together introduce David, right? Who is David for a T8 family? So, John.
Look, happy to introduce David first. David is, we're proud to have David on as our international manager. When you start a sportswear brand, Hong Kong's a big market in itself, but I think we've got some big visions. We want to be global, and David's really spearheading our international growth. He's been with us for almost quite a few months now, and we're really pleased to have him on board. For us, it was really important, because at the end of the day, we're a trail running brand, and we want to be authentic, and that involves having people who understand trail running, who are trail runners themselves, and that's where David ticked a lot of boxes. Not just that, but he's just hugely passionate about trail running. He's raced a lot of the Asia Trail Masters races already. Knows a lot of the people. So for us, we were just super excited to have David join us and be part of the team.
So before you talk a bit about the product, I had a conversation with David earlier, and David, you can speak Indonesia, right? So why not introduce yourself?
Sedikit. So my name's David. Nama saya David. So I'm originally from Australia, but I lived in Hong Kong when I was a young kid, but I wasn't into trail running back then. And then I did my first trail race back in 2014, and I always came back to Hong Kong, like usually every year, because my dad used to live here. And then the last few years, I really wanted to move back. And then knowing John and how passionate I am about trail running, we thought we could figure something out. And then that all came together like the last few months. So it's been really good to be back in Hong Kong and working with T8.
Awesome. And John, we were talking about, David was saying that he has not been going back to Indonesia for so long. So I told him that perhaps when all things settle, things are good, then go back to Indonesia and race the Indonesia Grand Slam. So that's kind of a nice way to make a comeback to Indonesia, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea.
Okay, John. So now the interesting part of this new product from T8. So I hope that you have something that you want to share with us. I don't know what, a prototype or what, something that you've been working on for these past few months.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not the best time to be, coming out with new products. Obviously, a lot of the world's going through some tough times, and I think in a lot of places there's shutdowns and everything else. But we do what we can in these times. And for us, we've still been working on the product development. At the moment, we've got two really good products with the Sherpa shorts and also the Commandos running underwear. But we realise people have been asking us, when are you coming out with some more products? We want to see more from T8. So we've been busy on that. We've been working on technical running tee for a little while now. This is a prototype, but and so it'll change a little bit from here. But we've spent a lot of time just trying to get the fabric right, because the fabric is such an important part in having a proper running tee. In these hot and humid climates, and that's where we're really focused. You need something that's lightweight, but also very breathable, non-chafe, and at the same time doesn't cling. And so it took us a lot of time to come up with a combination of fabrics, and we think we're getting there. This is sort of the tee that we've got at the moment. Sort of hard to show, but there's kind of a nice collar and a deep V-neck, which is actually going to sort of help with breathability and getting that airflow through. But we're really happy just with the fabric, and even me, as someone who just hates tees, I actually quite like it. So that's something that we're working on. We've got a couple of other things as well. We've got a trail to pub tee. A lot of times you'll want to go on a run. You want to meet someone afterwards. You're looking for something that's it's actually works technically well on a trail, sort of in terms of being lightweight, breathable. But at the same time, you want something that's actually quite smart. You can get away wearing a little pub. It's going to be quick dry. So that's coming along. We're also working on the new Sherpa shorts as well. Come in the blue color, but we've got a number of upgrades there, including some race bib holders, some key holders, and some extra silicone to make it just fit a little bit better. We've also got some road running commandos that we're working on. There's some trail running socks, super lightweight, really durable, anti-blister guarantee. They'll be out in about a few months. And then we've also got a Singapore trucker as well. And I don't have a prototype, but I can show you sort of the design that we're working through. And we're really excited about that. I think we're big in Asia. We want to show to all of our countries in Asia that we care, and so we're going to gradually work through all the countries and give them a special country-specific limited edition trucker.
That's very nice. Yeah, something that more customized to the Asian here. Yeah, so I think that's a nice approach, John. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I'm going to pass on the next segment to Ismail. So, David, thank you for your time joining us tonight. And John, I'll be talking to you shortly. So, Isabel, can we have Ismail from Pelari Denai? Okay. Yang tak asing lagi. Okay, knows by everyone. Pelari Denai is such a brand in our trail running scene, right? So, Abang Ismail. Okay, apa khabar? How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I'm going to pause you for the next session for you to chit-chat more. I know you have some burning questions for Veron, John, and Sherpa. So I'll talk to you shortly.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. So, hi guys. Apa khabar semua? Terima kasih. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we have none other than Mr. Sherpa himself. How are you, Sherpa?
I'm very good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, and the whole gang is here. How are you guys?
Hey, Ismail.
Hello.
All right. Everybody seems like so energetic, except for myself, I guess. So anyway, I was hearing all the stuff just now. It's kind of exciting, especially like this, like we are chatting right now, and to be yourself and to get to know each other, that'd be great. So we have a few questions that some of our viewers ask about trail runnings and stuff. So I'm just going to address this to anyone. I mean, if you guys want to answer or anybody would like to shout out, just let me know. So one of the questions that we have is, what is the lowest point that you have in running your running career, and how did you bounce back? Okay. So anyone, I'm open to anyone. If you guys can answer this, I mean, during your runs or anything, right? Maybe like you felt like the lowest point. Maybe you can't finish the race. You know, I mean, do you guys have that thing? Sherpa.
So now for me it was 2018. I had a very bad tendonitis, and this kind of issue is very common in between runners, and it's the kind of issue that the main issue is that you can keep running, but you always struggle. So I've been going through all the Asia Trail Master Championship with this issue, and I was really, because you feel like you are competing in a different level because you always have issue. So I think for me it was important to understand that everyone has a lot of issue, personal issue, private issue. You have to win with what you have and not to think about what you don't have. And so somehow I use this problem to evolve and to and that year actually I won the Asia Trail Master Championship. So at the end I went through a surgery, and it takes quite some time. So I want to say also that sometimes patience is the key. You have to wait if you have to wait, and you have to planning carefully your activity if you want to perform. So it's not always going to rushing. There is time for rest and time for winning.
So you need hard work for that.
Yeah, that time actually at the beginning of 2019, I start after my surgery, I start with Translantau Hong Kong after 2 months of recovery. And I remember after 15K, the feeling of my body was like after 100 miles. This is probably what's going to happen when we will end the quarantines. So, I mean, it takes time to race at a high level. You have to train really every day. Be very constancy is the key, and it's very easy to lose the fitness you build up in years. So yeah, that year I had this feeling for the first race, but then I decided to stop racing and go back to training for 3-4 months. And then I think my first race was Rinjani, and then 1 week later I fight against John in Pinangiko. So I took like 6 months of training because I was not ready, and then I was back to be competitive.
How about you, John?
I mean, there's been a few out there. Probably UTMB in I think 2015 or 16 was probably the hardest point. You know, it's a tough race anyway. You know, I'd trained hard, but actually I don't know what it was. I think it was probably the altitude, but it really just hit me hard. I expected to do a lot better, and I was struggling within the first 20 or 30 Ks. And I remember at about 120 Ks heading into Champex-Lac, and I was done. I had nothing left. I was walking. I couldn't imagine doing the next 50 Ks. And I had a support crew. You know, big shout out to my partner, Elaine, and Emily Woodland as well. And, you know, I spent the 2 hours heading into Champex-Lac coming up with all the excuses about why I needed to finish there and I couldn't possibly go on. And I had them all organized. And I remember getting to Champex-Lac and the checkpoint, and they just looked at me and they just had this look. And they're just like, oh, okay, I can't argue. You guys are ferocious. And it you know, I was on the edge. I was ready to DNF, and you know, my friends and my family believed in me, and that was enough. And so I managed to struggle through. I finished The next 50 Ks, it wasn't a good time by any stretch of the imagination, but the important thing was getting right to that sort of super low point, but being able to push through and being able to finish with it. And to me, it was just realizing just how important it is to have people who believe in you, and sometimes that's enough.
The support crew then.
Support crew, but also support crew who know you, and who, I think if it was the support crew that didn't know me, I could have blagged my way and said, it's impossible, I can't do it. But these people knew me and they weren't taking no for an answer. So, yeah, they told me what to do and kicked me out of the checkpoint, and I had to finish.
Great. How about you, Ron? Because I noticed whenever you run, right, whenever you finish running or something like that, even in MMTF, if I'm not mistaken, you were saying that I need more elevation, you know?
Well, I haven't been running as long as John has, so it's only been 2 years for me. So, yeah, it's been going quite well. I did have one very low point in October when first time in my life I couldn't finish a race because I had some knee pain, and since I'm so new to running, I wasn't sure what it was. So of course I was a bit worried, and I was just thinking like, oh my God, what am I gonna do if I have an injury? Like, this is my life. But that's, again, same as Sherpa said, it's kind of the time to, just slow down a little bit, maybe figure out what's wrong with your body. It's not the end of the world. So I realized what the issue was, and that's when I kind of like found out, oh yeah, I should be stretching more. I should be doing some strength exercises as well, not just run all the time. So it was a low point, but it was also a good point to just learn more about, how to take care of my body when you're doing all these crazy races and when you're running every day on an everyday basis. So it was a low point, but also a good point to just learn more and to progress.
Wow. Okay. Coincidentally, our next question is, this guy was asking, what is, rather than running, what other exercises that you guys are doing? Is it swimming or cycling?
So, so for me, it's definitely this strengthening of your muscles. So there is a lot of special exercises now I know, which I didn't know before, that you should be doing as a runner, just making sure that all your muscles are strong enough to sustain like running for such a long time. And then, swimming is also a very good activity, just to, do something different. It's very good for your whole body, for your back. So I should be doing more of that. So for me, it's these two, I would say, that are quite essential.
How about the gentlemen? What are you guys doing rather than running?
I think Sherpa's skipping a lot.
Yeah, I see that. Almost every day, like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, he'll start skipping, I guess. How about you?
So, yeah.
So, John, what do you do? I mean, rather than running, I mean, do you swim or anything else?
I'd love to do a lot more. I guess, unfortunately, I don't have that much time. And so, for me, if I can make a bit of time, it'll be a little bit of strength training. I run a lot, I race a lot, and I find that the strength training just really helps to bulletproof my body, and it means that I don't get injured probably as much as I should. And so, one of my sponsors, Joint Dynamics, is amazing in terms of the programs and the personal training that they give me. And then at home, I do my own personal training as well. I sort of do the baby lift, and then the piggyback, and a few other things like that with the kids. So yeah, that helps to help with the injuries.
For Sherpa, we know that you are doing skipping. Are you doing any yoga, Sherpa?
Yeah, I started to do these kind of things since I'm locked in house, and but usually I do also straightening and cross training. I follow my coach Andy Debois advices, who is the coach of everyone, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to reach a good level, as Veronica was saying, that you strengthen your muscle for this activity. So it's not that if you are a runner, you are a cyclist or whatever, you just have to train in this sport. But there are a lot of aside the training that you have to do to straighten your muscle and to reach the next level.
Okay. For you guys, right? What are the best way to maintain elevation training during this quarantine? Any tips, guys?
I mean, I would say if you've got access to a stairwell, that's going up and down. That's probably as good as anything. And I remember Jag Lenante, he did Hong Kong 4 Trails probably 3 or 4 years ago, and he basically did that off the back of going up and down his stairwell and not really doing any other training. So, if that's enough to do 300 Ks and 1,400 meters, 14,000 meters of elevation in a race, it's probably good for anything.
All right, great. How about you, Veronica? I mean, other than doing the HIIT stuff, right? What do you suggest if for elevations?
Yeah, I would say the same. Just find some stairs, in the corridor, or if you don't have stairs at home. And yeah, I cannot imagine any better exercise to train for the elevation when you're stuck at home. Yeah, I would say that's the way to go.
Right. Okay, Sherpa, I have a special question for you. One of the viewers asked you a special question. But any one of you guys can hear, and maybe you guys can give your thoughts too. No problem. So the question for Sherpa is, tell us what happened with the sponsors that cut ties with you during the COVID hit Italy big time.
Yeah, it was unpleasant situation. I will be very brief on this. And basically, I had 4 sponsors. One is Vitamod Malaysia, T8, and Scott. And I started this cooperation with Proviton, owned by Duo Pharma. It's a huge company in Malaysia. And somehow we cooperated till February this year when they cut my cooperation with no explanation. So, people who follow me on social network, I was quite on a open fight with them. And I'm not here to put fuel on fire, but it was really unpleasant on an ethical point of view for me. And so I just want to use this to thank my sponsor, who every of the other sponsor I had, they really supported me. They support my country, and they all send me everyday messages about how to help my country and how to help myself in this situation. So I think, business is business, but there should be something more behind this. And this is what should be in sports, sponsorship, and business as well. That's it.
Great. Thank you so much. So we have, I'm going to give back the table to Azlin because I guess for now, that's it. But thank you very much, guys. I mean, it's very helpful for you guys to answer all these questions. And it's great to, chit-chat with you guys during this period of time.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mal. Pelari Denai. Okay, so let us bring all the champs back in. Veron, John, and Sherpa. Okay. So I think we come to the end of the session. So you guys, I don't see any further questions from the audience. So probably we can start with Veron. What would be your advice, before we parting ways, before we wrap up the session? What would be your advice to your fans, to the audience tonight?
I just want to say, we all are in the same situation right now. Everyone is stuck at home. Everyone has to find new ways of staying active, staying fit. We are, in this, all of us, we're together. And if anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer outside this chat as well. So and I'm wishing a happy Easter to everyone.
Thank you, Veron. So you also take care, okay? John, last words to the folks.
To everyone. Obviously, it's a really tough time for everyone. I'm so proud of everyone who's doing the right thing right now and staying home and doing the social distancing. And yeah, it sucks right now, but it's the right thing to do. And we'll get through this. It's not easy, but if everyone does the right thing, we'll get through this, and we'll be back to a semi-normal life, and hopefully it'll be normal at some point again as well. So everyone, keep your spirits up. Keep doing those amazing things that you're doing at home. There's some just incredible, inspirational sort of running like loops around your couch for 50Ks. Like, it's so inspirational. So keep doing that, whatever you need to do, and we'll get through this.
Okay, Sherpa, your last words before we parting ways for tonight to the folks, to the audience.
Yeah, I want to say that this is a very precious and important moment. I mean, I'm 34 years old and I never had the chance or I never catch the chance to slow down and think about myself. I think this is the time where we are forced to do it, and probably it will be the only time in my life, because if then we will start to do business, to do racing, we will remember the quarantine of COVID-19, that time where we've been 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks at home, thinking about ourselves, and it is really important. I mean, I think it's something priceless, and we have to use this time for this. And I mean, complaining is never a good strategy. So let's use this time to evolve on a personal side, and to look what is outside. That probably won't be the same scenario of what we left. But this is the beauty of life. So there will be something different. So we are ultra runner, and we are not afraid of new challenges.
Yep. Thank you so much, guys, for your time tonight. It's precious. It's a Saturday evening, but thank you for being so candid. Such a sport. I think this is the first time that the folks get to know a different side, the story of you guys beside running. So I hope that this collaboration, this camera, just not going to stop here. Just like Veronica was saying, you guys feel free if you have any further questions to Veron, John, or Sherpa. You guys know their Facebook account. Drop them a hi, ask them anything or something. When their time permits, then they will holler back, right? So with that, I'm just going to give love to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. So have a good evening. Take care and stay safe. Okay? Right. So Isabel, I think that's it for tonight. So probably you want to bring yourself up back to the screen. Hi, Isabel.
Yep. Hi, Azri.
Yes.
So sorry about, I think because of the internet connection, that's why a lot of people are not able to view this Facebook Live through their phone. Some of them get to view from the laptop. So anyways, this video will be there in Sportlicious Malaysia. Follow us, Sportlicious Malaysia, follow T8 Facebook page, follow Asia Trail Master. Yes, I love the sharing session today with the elite runners as well as the founder of ATM. Yeah, thank you so much for the session.
No problem. I think in these trying times, what we find that it's very prominent and it's consistent to all of us is that we are all human beings, regardless whether we are a champion or not, we are elite or not. But when it comes to this moment, I think everyone just persevere, stay strong, and it's very important to be safe, right? And continue to take care of each other, especially our family members, And I would like to thank Chris from Asia Trail Master, John, Veron, Sherpa, David, as well as Ismail from Pelari Denai, for lending us their time and to be candid and to share with us tonight. So I hope that probably there'll be future sessions. So until then, also thank you for the Sportlicious team, to Karen and Casey for organizing this live session. I think this is a very good one in this kind of situation. something different. And of course, happy Easter to everyone. Thank you so much, Isabel.
Thank you. Happy Easter, everyone. So we shall wrap up this video. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay well, stay at home. Thank you.
Bye-bye.